The Auckland weather had been its fickle worst in the lead up to this event, with rain rather than sun dominating the early summer. But after some sterling work by organisers and track crews, the Mickey Thompson New Zealand Offroad Grand Prix was all go. The main topic of conversation before race one, how to handle the mud and tyre choice.
Got a new set of tyres on, so that should help. Running pressures are down a bit, so just trying to get as maximum grip out of that slippery surface as I can. Yep.
And I had a brand new set of Mickey Thompson P3s that I've never run. This morning I went and put the back of the trailer down, loaded those tyres in because I think that's what we're going to need. They're sharp and they're new. So.
Each class would have 2 4-lap heat races for points to determine the start position for the semi-mains. Top point scorer off the front. First up, the Federal Tyres Pro 1, and off the front, 196 Justin Davies, number 110 Ross Misson. A small mistake for Misson saw him slip back through the field, and then this made it worse. Also having trouble, Speedway ace Cody Harter in the ex-Tony McCall Championship winning car, with Misson finishing things off, unable to stop in the slippery conditions. Meanwhile, up at the front, Davies still led, but starting to run him down was Sean Russell and Brad Harvey. Heading into the S's for the last time, Russell squeezed by Davies to take the lead. A position he would keep to the flag, with second place going to Justin Davies and third to Brad Harvey. The second heat was a reverse grid start, meaning pole sitter in heat 1, Ross Misson, would start on the back row. As they headed out onto lap 1, it was the veteran Don Atwood leading from Tim Ackers and a flying Brad Harvey. The experienced Atwood held off repeated attacks, but only succeeded in bringing James Buchanan into the mix in the second Bumac car. Harvey was trying everything, bouncing off the Atwood car, but opening up the way to Buchanan in the process. This side-by-side racing had the crowd on their feet, but when things got a little bit close for comfort, Atwood found himself in third place. After the contact with Harvey. When the checkered flag flew, it was Harvey from Buchanan and a fast-finishing Sean Russell pipping Atwood for third. So 2 heats down here at Manukau, and we're into the semi-main, and it's Sean Russell and Brad Harvey on row number 1. James Buchanan, Justin Davies on 2, and it's Don Atwood and Tim Ackers. And in row number 4, Louis Carlisle and Alan Hillman. Top point scorer off the front in the semi-main, and a competition caution to watch for as well. And as they head down, it is Brad Harvey on the outside, heading for the tabletop for the first time. But down the inside of him comes Sean Russell. Russell in the LS Chevy up against the 2.4 litre car of Brad Harvey. Second row back, getting a little bit willing, or a little bit more than a little bit willing, because it's Don Atwood, I think. In fact, it's James Buchanan that's been shown the concrete by Tim Ackers. Have a look at it on the replay. In the Shores New Zealand Class 1 car, the Pro 1 car, gets into the side of Buchanan, the Bumac Engineering buggy. You're on board here with Tim Ackers. Well, just a little bit of contact coming out of that 180-degree turn. And stops James Buchanan. Here we go with the restart. Still Russell in the front. This is Brad Harvey, a 2-man structured sponsored car. These are Pro 1 cars. Russell, as I said, in the LS Chevy, fuel-injected Chevy V8. Here is one of the veterans of the off-roading scene, car number 178. This is Don Atwood, back into the sport after a fairly lengthy layoff, and in behind him, number 196, and that is Justin Davies. This is the action at the front of the field, though. Onto the long front straight, getting set to line up the main straight jump. It is Russell from Harvey. Harvey looking for the outside run. They draw nearly level as they come down into the Lucas Oil Sweeper at the top end of town here. And the yellow flag's flying. This is a new innovation here at the Offroad Grand Prix. This is a competition caution, if you like, similar to the way they do it in NASCAR. We'll bunch up the field and do it all again, so we're getting set for a restart. Will it be Russell or will it be Harvey? Harvey on the outside as we look at it, heading for the big CT Civil jump. Staying very close to the ground is Sean Russell. He wants to get the inside line as they work their way through toward the tabletop. Oh, and they say rubbin's racing, and there's plenty of rubbin and racing going on here. And look at the attack coming from behind as well. And that would be Justin Davies. He wants to get in the Act 2, so in behind him it's Don Atwood. Meantime, Russell gets away as they head down into the S's once again. You're on board with a man sitting in second place. This is Brad Harvey. The two-man structures, Pro 1 car. Brought to you by Federal Tyres. This is the semi-main. This will determine positions for the feature at the end of the day. There is the 196 of Justin Davies, a man that's picked up some silverware when we were here last time at Manukau, here at Prices Road, home of the New Zealand Offroad Grand Prix. So Russell leads it, tiptoeing his way back onto the main straight. Well, the track has stood up remarkably, because when we got here this morning, it was very, very muddy, a quagmire in places. But the track crew and the team from Orange have done a fantastic job, and so too has Brad Harvey. This time he changes tack, he looks to the inside. Russell sees it coming and just makes that 151 just a little bit wider. Back on board here with Harvey. Another one that was very successful at our last visit here to Prices Road, to the Off-Road Stadium track. So these two battling it out, and they're just starting to get away a little bit from Justin Davies. Don Atwood in fourth place, and then we go back to Tim Ackers, who was involved in that little bit of a fracas with James Buchanan in the opening laps. Down through the S's, heading back toward the crowd. You're on board here with Brad Harvey. He currently sits in second place. Having a look at the tear-off system on the helmet. There's a button on the steering wheel, and that's electronically controlled. It gives you clear vision when you need it, and that will be very necessary today. Clear track for Sean Russell as he pulls away in the closing stages and gets the win comfortably from Brad Harvey in second place. Third place will go to Justin Davies, and in fourth it's Don Atwood. Fifth place is Tim Ackers, and in sixth Louis Carlisle. Seventh Alan Hillman, and sadly a DNF for James Buchanan. The early morning threat of rain had evaporated. Slowly but surely the crowd were able to peel off waterproof layers and enjoy the watery sun here at Manukau. Every sport in New Zealand has a starting point. Here in off-roading, it's the Kiwi trucks, starting with the lawnmower engine-powered Class 1 for the young ones, the Class 2 running the same space tube frame but a higher horsepower engine and sequential gearbox, right through to the up to 450cc single-cylinder powered Class 3. Think motocross bike engine. Heat 1, it was Reed Giddy that made the best of a front row start. As laps ticked away, Hydrovac Kiwi trucks run shorter laps than their full-size brothers and sisters. He sped off to a commanding lead. One of the early pioneers of the Kiwi truck concept was Richard Crabb, and even he couldn't have foreseen the future of this popular class, with many going on to race the full-size class machines. Coming up after the break, it's the NZ Pro Buggies, the Lucas Oil Light Buggies and the UTVs. Stay right here. Welcome back to the Mickey Thompson Off-Road Grand Prix. Biggest difference between a Pro Buggy and a light buggy is the engine size, limited to 1650cc for the pros and 1332cc for the lights. Going the Pro Buggy route, Mike Gibson. This car, is it set up for this stuff or more enduro?
It's more of a medium car where I wanted an enduro car, but then I wanted it to be reasonably good at short course, because it's got to be good at short course to be into the national championships. So it's a bit of both. Yeah, so the power plant's just a Toyota 4AGE 20 valve. It's not too heavily worked. It's just got some camshafts in it and a mild port and polish, and that's about it really.
Heat number 1 of the NZ Pro Buggies saw Brendan Old start on row 1 alongside Lindsay Poynton, with Mike Gibson giving chase. As they crested the tabletop, that was the last time the field would see Old. The Taranaki man had been a standout at the last visit here, and nothing had changed. He won easily from Mark Goldston and Mike Gibson. If you thought Heat 2 would be more of the same, you'd be wrong. In Tony Atwood led the field away. All Brendan Old could see were cars, and they were all ahead of him.
Mike Gibson, 377, watch that place away.
As things got a little willing in the battle for the minors, Old pounced, passing cars and heading to the front. With one lap to go, he was in 4th place, but would go no higher. Up at the front, the win would go to Mike Gibson from Connor Nicklin and Mark Goldstone. The buggy feature was a good one as well, as Aaron Crabb and Jack Hellier and their Superbugs led the field away. They were followed by the light buggies, coming from the back, the faster still pro buggies. Brendan Old was carving his way toward the front, shadowing Connor Nicklin. Nicklin, the pathfinder through the traffic. After a brief battle with Tony Atwood, clear air, but still ahead lay Holly Russell and Connor Nicklin. When both Nicklin and Old double-teamed Russell, it came down to a two-man fight. Old again proving that he had mastered the Manukau conditions. Taranaki man seeing the flag, too good for Connor Nicklin. The closest finish of the day came in Heat 2 of the light buggies, super buggies and challengers. With Aaron Crabb and Jack Hellier and co leading the field away, the danger was again coming from behind. Bradley Scott was on a charge that would carry him to the front, but he also had company in the form of Holly Russell. And in the drag race to the finish, this happened. Russell literally jumping over the surprised Scott to claim the win. Have a look at it on the replay. This is how close it was. Heat 2, and Holly Russell gets the checkered flag. Probably the biggest innovation in off-roading worldwide, virtually since the V-dub engine, is the inclusion of side-by-side or UTV classes. It's introduced a whole new generation to the sport, and in some cases brought past competitors back. One of the fastest in the country in a UTV is Auckland's Carl Ruterman. How adjustable is your car? Can you adjust it so it's suited for the muddy conditions that we're maybe expecting?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we change the shock settings a little bit, just try and gain a bit of traction if it gets really greasy. So, and we might have to lift the car up a little bit just because of the weight of the mud. So sometimes if it gets covered in mud, you might add another 80 or 100 kgs to the car, so it drops it quite low. So yeah, we'll just bump it up a little bit then.
Making a welcome return to the sport he loves, Jamie McKinstry.
Just loving it. You know, it's a bit different, faster, you know, you're right in there amongst everyone, you know, so definitely when you come from the old school back into this, you know, I actually jumped in with my mate Carl Ruterman, and you know, that was kind of the turning point for me. I was like, yeah, this is the way of the future. So that's what kind of made me sort of go to it, really. So, but yeah, loving it.
New Zealand punches well above its weight in all sports worldwide, and off-roading is no different. Newly crowned USA #1 is Coromandel's Hamish Kelsey. I guess this is a small-scale version of probably what you're used to back in the States?
Yeah, this is very much grassroots, but you know, really want to get in behind what Tony's doing here with an incredible facility and bring up off-road racing in New Zealand. So no, we're really excited to get involved and do what we can to help out.
With that in mind, because I've seen some of the videos, and I mean the speeds you guys are going over there are horrendous. You're not going to get that sort of speed here.
Yeah, I don't know, we'll soon see, but hopefully it flows off and we can get some good pace on today, but we'll soon see what the weather does, and hopefully it's good. Heat
2 of the E&H Motors Ultra 4s saw a compact field leave the line. Leading up and over the tabletop were Cam Patton and Shane McWatt. Chasing hard, Brooklyn Horan. Into the second lap and no change. The biggest mover though, now fourth from the back of the field, was Carl Reutemann. Hang on a minute. Make that third. 3 abreast over the tabletop was only going to end one way, and that was with Reutemann on the front. Once in clear air, he pulled away to win comfortably from Shane McWatt and Cam Patton. On to the semi-main now, and with top point scorer from the heat starting off the front row, Carl Reutemann was away and clear by turn 1. Trying to keep him inside, Roger Mackay and Shane McWatt. When the full course caution flags came out, a feature of the semi-mains to try and regather the field, the rest would again be as close as they would get to the best. When the green flag flew again, Reutemann disappeared off the front, never to be headed. With a full front straight back to Mackay and McWatt. Still to come, the UTV feature and the big boys throw some mud at Manukau. That's after the break. Welcome back to the Mickey Thompson Offroad Grand Prix for 2022. It's feature time, and this is the lineup for the Polaris Ultra 4, Ultra 4 Turbo and Ultra 4 Pro. And a bit of a clash of the titans, because you're going to see the U22 Yamaha of Carl Reutemann, but you're also going to see the One USA of Hamish Kelsey. So away they go, and it's number 63 that's going to lead them up and over the top of the tabletop for the first time, and that is Matt Bishop. And already Reutemann has come, now get this folks, Carl Reutemann has come from row number 5, and he's now battling for second place. That's him in the E&H Motors blue Yamaha. Down the inside he goes of the 63. So already we've got a leader change. You're on board here with Hamish Kelsey. Now this is an amazing piece of kit. Him and his very clever brother built this car up. Oh, and he's driving it at 110% there. As you see, he nearly gets involved with Bishop as they come through down into the S's. Back on board here with Kelsey, walking away at the steering wheel. Now, this guy has brought a gun to a knife fight, because this is a very, very powerful car. This too is a very powerful car, but watch this, as Kelsey will now start to reel in the flying Reutemann, and it'll be like night and day. Over the big tabletop they go, heading down. You're on board here with Kelsey. Just on the inside of him is Reutemann, fast disappearing in the distance. That's the power difference of this purpose-built USA spec UTV that Hamish Kelsey has brought back to New Zealand. As I said, it's a product of New Zealand, built by his very clever brother, who you may remember back in the day built a WRC spec rally car in his big shed back home in Coromandel. So it's rubbed off on Hamish. He's doing the driving duties. You're watching him here. And interesting enough, if we get another onboard shot, oh, and a problem there. And I've got a feeling that is William Guise that's gone upside down with a little bit of help from Roger Mackay. We'll have a look at it on the replay. It is Guise that's gone upside down. There was a bit of contact there between the U66 of Roger Mackay. He's going to get back into it. Some early problems here. They say that Rubbin's racing, and we're certainly seeing a bit of it at the moment from Hamish Kelsey. So we get set to restart, and once again on the outside, watch for U22. That is Carl Reutemann, but already in the front, down the inside as they head down into the Lucas Oil sweeper. This is Hamish Kelsey. Once again, out in command of this. I mentioned it before, he's brought a gun to a knife fight here. Good progress being made here by Ed Heisted in the Scott Buckley designed and built machine. The 66 comes off. That is Roger Mackay, so obviously taking a little bit more than the hit than we thought. So his race is over. We go back on board here with Reutemann. You'll see Reutemann's got the hand tear-off system there. He doesn't rely on the machine. He just reaches up with his hand to pull the tear-off off and get clear vision once again. This is the battle for second and third. You're on board with the E&H Motors Yamaha of Carl Reutemann. Right in behind him, it is Ed Heisted. Race leader, though, continues to be Hamish Kelsey. You can just see how well this thing works. One USA just recently took the USA title at a huge meeting in the Midwest. This battle for second and third starts to hot up a little bit now, down the inside as we watch it, coming down the front straight. This is Ed Heisted trying to find a way around Carl Reutemann. Can't do it for the moment. gets a little bit closer as they head down into the S's once again. Tries to go down the inside. Maybe the Class 10 car just a little bit more nimble than Reutemann. Reutemann, remember, driving his non-turboed UTV. He's got 2 of them. So out in the front it is Hamish Kelsey. This is a battle for 2nd and 3rd. Back in 3rd place by the look of it, it's still number 63, Matt Bishop, and then the U31, and that's Shane McWatt. 2nd place, negotiates the big jump. 3rd, there is our 4th place man. 5th coming through as well, and that should be Brooklyn Horan. And then it's the 2nd of our UTVs, and that is Craig Patching. Sorry, the 2nd of our Class 10s, and that is Craig Patching in the 1067. Again, motorcycle powered. Lincoln Wedette there in the hottest of hot Kiwi trucks. That one powered by a 450cc Yamaha engine. And Lincoln doing more than holding his own. Just staying in front of Phil Johnson for the moment. We go back on board with the leader. There was never really going to be a contest between the stock and the turbo UTVs, predominantly Yamahas, and the car that this man is driving over the CT Civil main straight jump. He goes once again into the Lucas Oil Sweeper, up over the tabletop. Plenty of air gathered by Hamish Kelsey as we ride with him here, heading down into the S's. Once again, have a look at the speed difference as he comes through. He can pass whatever way he wants. He can go outside, he can go inside. It doesn't seem to matter. Oh, there's a problem. There's a problem on the left front. The left front suspension's collapsed by the look of it on Hamish Kelsey's car. Just got a glimpse of that as he went round the inside of one of the lap cars, and it looks to me like either a steering arm or the ball joint has broken, and that is race over for Hamish Kelsey. And you see the left front heading off towards Australia. This man re-inherits the front running. This is Carl Reutemann, a man that's done everything in New Zealand motorsport, from drifting, from circuit racing, from two-wheel stuff when he was a lot younger, and of course now making a name for himself in the UTV classes in the New Zealand off-roading scene. Big thank you to Orans and also to Counties Manukau Offroad Racing Club for providing the officials and preparing this amazing venue. We're here at Manukau for the Mickey Thompson New Zealand Off-Road Grand Prix, and taking out the Polaris feature is the number 22 of Carl Reutemann. In second place it will be Ed Heisted, and in third place it will be Matt Bishop. Fourth place will go to Shane McWatt, and then fifth it'll be the U89 of Brooklyn Horan. Sixth place will go to Cam Patton, and in seventh it is Lincoln Wedette. And here is the moment. There goes the left front wheel.
Unfortunately, the arm snapped on one of the welds. It's a piece we buy. Not many of those birds we buy, but it was, and yeah, that's something for us to improve on next year, and yeah, I'm glad we learned it here. But yeah, we're really happy with how it went today. You know, this is the first event for that car, and yeah, I think we can say it went pretty good. Yeah, had an awesome day. Yeah, the track was amazing. The weather held out for us. Track had a lot of grip, so made it quite fast and interesting. It was really cool. Yeah.
Can the Pro Trucks tame the track here at Manukau? Come back after the break to find out. Welcome back to the Off-Road Grand Prix. It is time for the Pro Trucks to strut their stuff in over 3 divisions. Carlton Party Hire Pro 4, Repco Pro 2, Cooper Tyres Pro Light, all racing on the same grid. One of the true characters of the off-road truck racing scene is Rana Horan. But don't go looking for a steering wheel in the big man's hands today. Rana Horan, a different job for you today.
Yes, today's job is being the navigator for my son, or actually just being the moderator for him in the passenger seat. So yeah, it's going to be a good day.
Boston, I don't know if you remember this, but when we were here last time you said that the big ambition was to drive Dad's truck. Well, you are now.
Yeah, I am now. I'm quite excited actually. It's a pretty big step up though. It's a lot more horsepower and a way bigger car.
How hard's that going to be as a proud dad?
Oh, yeah, I did it once, and then I called his uncle and said, come down to Christchurch, I need you to do it. No, it's just about keeping him in check, really. He'll keep trying to push too hard and end up doing something, so I just make sure he doesn't, hopefully.
Another veteran of the sport moving up is Nick Leahy. A demon on 2 wheels back in the day and not too shabby on 4 either. These days, he drives the 887 SCC Pro Light.
They're more like a go-kart to drive. They're live axle. You can just throw them around. You're not relying on independence, which gets you into trouble in the same respect. So, yeah.
So is it about surviving the day, or is it about win it or win it?
Surviving the day? Geez, I paused quite a while then, didn't I? Yeah, you want to be there for the big dance at the end, don't you? So, yeah, we'll just try and survive the heats and be there for the big one.
Already 2 NZ in the UTVs, Joel Giddy felt the need for speed and more power. So he now owns and drives this Ford-powered Pro 4 beast from the US.
It's a small block Ford in there. Had about 880 horsepower when we got it. We've detuned it a bit just to make it a bit more reliable. As soon as you come off the gas, it goes into 2-wheel drive. So you've got to throw it into the corner. You can't drive it. So you've got to go sideways in there.
And it's designed to do that?
Designed to do that, yeah. So you can rotate it in the corners. You need a bit of room to swing it around, and I'll be very surprised if all those panels are still on at the end of the day, but it'll be a bonus if they are.
Well, Repco Pro 2, Carlton, Party Hire Pro 4, Cooper tyres, Pro Lights. Here's the way they'll line up. On the front row, it's Nick Leahy and Nick Hall. So the Pro Lights on row 1. Ricky May and Campbell Whitford on row 2. Row number 3, it's Lee Bishop. No Mad Mike Wedette, sadly had clutch issues earlier on. Flag drops and away they go. And straight into the front goes, well, I was going to say it was going to be Nick Hall, but Nick Leahy's got it all wrong and he's kissed the concrete as they come out of the Lucas Oil sweeper. Now it remains to be seen if they can leave that truck there or they'll have to move it. And if they do, we'll go back to a full restart. But at the moment, it is Nick Hall leading. Down into the S's for the first time. Keep an eye on the likes of Boston Morgan Horan and also Joel Giddy at the back of the field. There they are there in the Pro 4s. And remember, it is Rana sitting in the passenger seat, calming his boy down. Giddy nearly gets into the side of them, just up ahead of them, and look like Lee Bishop in the mix as well. Now, we'll have a look as they come round again. This is the race leader. This is the Vertex Lubricant sponsored Nick Hall. This is a Pro Light truck, very much under strict modifications. Nick, of course, got off-roading in his blood. His father, Kevin, certainly one of the movers and shakers to get this amazing venue up and going here in Manukau. Things getting a little bit closer, and more than a little bit close. I think Cam Whitford's going to pay the price there. The 874's gone over. Now, was there a touch between him and Boston Morgan Horan? We'll have to have a look at it on the replay. And here it is. Watch for the gold truck. I think he might have done it all on his own. I don't know that there was damage on the Big Black Motorsport truck. Oh, it's hard to say from that angle, but Joel Giddy's caught up in the collateral damage. We're on board here with Giddy. You can see the fiberglass parts coming off his car. Meantime, climbing out of the car is Cam Whitford. Here's another look at what happened earlier with Nick Leahy. The SCC Pro Light battling for the lead and put it onto the concrete. Well, we heard Joel Giddy say he wouldn't be surprised if there's a few parts hanging off the JG Civil Pro 4, and that's exactly what we see here. Parts hanging off Nick Hall's truck as well. We get the green flag again. You're riding with Nick Hall. Just in behind him, it is Ricky May in the Mad Max Racing 841. Through the sweeper and heading for the tabletop. Very sideways that time for Nick Hall. Horan down the inside, trying to get around Ricky May. Just using the muscle, trying to make his car drive to the inside, so the inside-outside cut might have worked here for Boston Morgan Horan. Looking all over the back of the Mad Max Racing truck of Ricky May. Meantime, out in the front, the leader clears away, and that is Nick Hall. Joel Giddy up into this fight as well as they head back towards the pits. Oh, Ricky May's got all he can handle with it at the moment. You see the back of the truck step out as he hits one of the ruts here. Probably a product of the inclement conditions we had earlier this morning. But if you look closer, you'll see dust flying here at Manukau for the Mickey Thompson New Zealand Offroad Grand Prix. There is the race leader. That is Nick Hall. Then we go back to Ricky May. Then we go back to Boston Morgan Horan. And then we go back to Joel Giddy. And then behind them, it would be Lee Bishop by the look of it. Horan starting to assert his dominance, so he's got his way into second place now. Giddy looking to go around the outside of May. Remember, Horan and Giddy in the Pro 4s, four-wheel drives. They're on board here with the race leader, and he's getting slowly but surely shut down by Boston Morgan Horan. Oh, and Horan has a real moment, and I get Dad will have the hand on the knee of his boy, just saying, calm down, son, there's a long way to go. This is the feature. Back on board here with Nick Hall. You see the electronic controlled tear-off system on his helmet. More parts flying off the JG Civil Pro 4 of Joel Giddy. In fact, that's shedding parts like a dog sheds fleas. And Giddy's got up ahead of Horan, so that must have happened when Boston got a little bit untidy coming out of the S's. So a change for second and third now. Giddy closing right up to what used to be the tailgate of Nick Hall's Pro Light. Should be able to do it on horsepower alone. You're riding with Hall here. Just got a glimpse of Giddy menacingly in the background. He drives to the inside as they work their way through the S's, heading back towards the pits and the front straight again. Gets caught up a little bit in the soft stuff, and maybe Hall can use the nimbleness, and he does use the nimbleness of the Vertex Lubrications truck, and he goes back. He does the inside-outside cut, and he goes back into first place. You just get the feeling that Giddy isn't done with this yet. That's him getting all kinds of sideways as they head towards the front straight once more and tick off another lap in the book. Mickey Thompson brings it to you. It's the Offroad Grand Prix coming to you from Manukau City. And this is the battle at the front of the field. And we've got the competition caution, so that's going to allow us to get the bits and pieces, mostly off Joel Giddy's truck off the racetrack, and it's going to regather the field. So all that good work that Nick Hall has done has all been for nothing, because starting alongside him now will be his nemesis in this one. He'll be out horsepowered, I'm sure, and that is Joel Giddy. Giddy looks for the inside run as they head down into the Lucas Oil sweeper. Nothing Hall can do about it. Now, what can Horan do? Can he get back and challenge for second? So Joel Giddy in the front. Well, he knows all about close quarters racing because he's one of the best in the country on a UTV, or should I say in a UTV. He's not bad in this Pro 4 truck that he's recently imported from the United States either. So Giddy leads it. Hall is second. Horan is third. And I think we'd go back to Lee Bishop, would be in fourth place. Then yes, and behind him, it's the Mad Max racing truck of Ricky May, another one of the Pro Lights. You can see how parts of the track are cut up fairly rough here. You're on board with Joel Giddy. Back onto the front straight he comes, and you can hear that small block Ford wailing away. Unlimited suspension on the Pro 4s, unlimited modifications to the engines as well, and it's worked in the semi-main for Joel Giddy because he wins it. Second place will be Nick Hall, and in third place it'll be Boston Morgan Horan. Fourth place will go to Lee Bishop, and only 5 finishes with Ricky May coming up in fifth. Coming up, the big one, the big feature of the afternoon here at Manukau. You don't want to miss it. Welcome back. This is the Mickey Thompson New Zealand Off-Road Grand Prix, and we've got to the feature event. Before that, just having a look at some of the highlights from the semi-main and what we've seen before. This was early on in the piece. This was James Buchanan getting helped over the concrete by Tim Ackers. All that's behind them now as we get ready to turn them loose in the Mickey Thompson Tyres feature race.
This is a desert car. This is a long 127-inch American-built car, so it's good for it was built for Baja and that kind of thing. It's a bit tight to get around there. It's kind of a big car, but you know, it is what it is, and you know, we've got to run what we got, so you got to make it work, you know.
So this is the big one. Mickey Thompson brings it to you. It's Pro 1s, Pro 2s, Pro 4 and Pro Lights. And the front row is Ellen Hillman and Louis Carlisle. Second row, Tim Ackers and Don Atwood. Third row, James Buchanan and Brad Harvey. And a look at those trucks looming in the background. Away we go, the feature event here at Manukau. And straight into the front goes the 109 of Ellen Hillman. Up the inside of Hillman is James Buchanan. James Buchanan in the Bumac racing car. James is an engineer. Bumac is his company. He sits in second place. Brad Harvey could be the spoiler in this one. That's him sitting in third. You're right here with Harvey. Certainly pays the horsepower disadvantage. He runs a 2.4 litre fuel-injected engine as opposed to some of the 600 and 700 horsepower trucks that are looming in the background. Leader change by the look of it. Hillman just runs a little bit wide, and that allows Harvey to get to the front. And already Nick Hall knocking on the rear bumper of the veteran Don Atwood in the 178, the first of the Bumac racing cars. And the second of them is being driven by James Buchanan. So heading down towards the big Main Street jump here at Manukau. It is the 144 of Brad Harvey in second place. Well, maybe we'll let them fight this one out, because it's the 122 of Louis Carlisle battling with Don Atwood. You're on board here with Nick Hall. He's currently sitting in third place, trying to go around the outside of Atwood now. Can't quite get it done. Atwood gets it nice and tight down the inside, and if anything, Hall loses a spot, or nearly loses a spot, to Tim Ackers in the Shaw's Pro 1 car. Back on board here with Hall, just in behind him now it is Tim Ackers. There he is there. 122 just ahead of them is Louis Carlisle. Here's the son of Craig. Saw Craig here the last time in his Pro Light. Back on board here with Nick Hall. He is in the Pro Light, the Vertex Lubricants car. Looming in the background is Joel Giddy, so he's put together a pretty good lap to move up through the field here as the leaders head down the front straight once again. It's the veteran Don Atwood. Great to see him back in racing in the lead. Nick Hall in second. Oh, just a gentle bump from Joel Giddy as they fly over the CT Civil jump here on the main straight, and going with him is Boston Horan. So slowly but surely the trucks are coming to the fore here. You're on board with Don Atwood, and oh, that was more than a little bit of a bump. So it's getting a little bit willing. Maybe the temperature's starting to climb and the temper's starting to fray. Hall, Horan on contact with Joel Giddy, and the result there for all to see. Up and over goes the big black motorsport gold machine. Have a look at it on the replay. Hall in the front, out of trouble. I don't think that Boston Morgan Horan knew that Joel Giddy was there, and he's just turned down on him. And Giddy, looking like he was heading towards the outside line, has hit him amidships, and that's put the young teenager on his leg with Dad sitting beside him. Here's a replay. You're on board here with Nick Hall. Look what's going on behind him. It was a vicious high-speed crash for Boston Morgan Horan. And that's a sad sight indeed. And Dad won't be happy. He'll be happy that his boy's okay, but he won't be happy that he's got a bit of a repair to do. We get set for the restart. The Mickey Thompson pace truck comes off the circuit. The green flag flies, and we're racing again in the Mickey Thompson feature race. Out in the front, the 144, the two-man structures sponsored car of Brad Harvey. Well, he's been in this spot a lot today already. Now, can he stay there? Second place is Don Atwood. Trying to get down the outside of him is Joel Giddy in the Pro 4, the JG Civil truck. And then in behind him, it would be Nick Hall, still in the fight. Make no mistake about it, as he tries to go around the outside of Giddy. Giddy plays the sensible card, just gets on the brakes and let Hall has his head, as in fact Giddy just looked a little bit out of control there, nearly taking to the grass and getting very sideways was Brad Harvey. So is there an issue in the 144? You're back on board with him here. Got a good lead at the moment. Don Atwood being chased down here by Nick Hall. Well, Don would have raced with Kevin back in the day. Kevin, of course, the father of Nick, and Kevin, you'd have to say the father of what you're watching this venue here at Manukau. Kevin and his team doing a fantastic job for years and years and years of management meetings and think tanks and things like that to get where we are today. And Tony McCall and his team doing a great job with the promotion. Giddy goes into the front over the tabletop, so a change, no, sorry, into second place over the tabletop, so a change in second. Nick Hall very sideways, coming down into the S's, and oh, that's Don Atwood. Don Atwood's got together maybe with Tim Ackers, and he has had a heavy impact into the concrete, just trying to extricate him out of it. Well, yes, there was definitely a little bit of contact between the Shaw's Pro 1 and the Bumac Pro 1. Here it is from Tim Ackers' point of view. But he knows there's a problem. He says to his passenger, that's it, we're out, we're done. Back on board here with Don Atwood. It's a nasty crash for the veteran. So we're under a red flag here at Manukau as we rewrite the Bumac Engineering car of Don Atwood. Getting set for the restart, single file restart. It is Harvey in the front, it is Giddy, it is Hall. Then we go back to Tim Ackers by the look of it. And then behind him it would be Lee Bishop. And still in the mix, but further down the field, Louis Carlisle and also Alan Hillman. Race leader about to be monstered by the Pro 4 of Joel Giddy, and then the Pro Light of Nick Hall looking to find a way round as well into the S's on the outside this time. Horsepower's going to play a part here, and Joel Giddy takes the front as we ride with him, peering through the safety net on the JG Civil Pro 4, recently imported out of the United States of America. Then we go back to the 144, 2.4 litre injected buggy, Pro 1 buggy. And behind him it is Nick Hall, but already Giddy starting to get away. This is the one he wanted, he said. He said if he could have his druthers, he'd like the New Zealand Offroad Grand Prix feature title. At the moment, he's looking pretty damn good. Comes up to the CT Civil main straight jump once again. Plenty of air under the big wheels of the Joel Giddy truck as he heads through the Lucas Oil sweeper up and over the tabletop. This is a battle for second and third, and I'll tell you what, Brad Harvey hasn't got it all his own way, because looming in the background is a charging Nick Hall. On board with the man in second place, and this is Nick Hall. Looming up on the outside of the two-man structures buggy of Brad Harvey. Can't make the pass stick. Now he tries to drive to the inside as they come up the steep little rise and head back towards the pits now. This is the technical section of the circuit here. The rest of it is pretty near flat out. Heading towards the front straight they come. You're on board with the man currently in second place. Out in front, it is Joel Giddy in the Pro 4. This battle starting to heat up here. Look at Nick Hall, challenging left, challenging right, looking for a chink in the armour of Harvey. Can't find it for the moment. Now it's dried out. These cars will be hitting close to 100 miles an hour in the old language as they head to the main straight jump. Plenty of air and plenty of suspension to soak it up from both of these well, protagonists that have been around a long, long time in the off-roading world. Brad Harvey still holds on to second place. Nick Hall trying for all his worth to get up a little bit closer and put the heat on Harvey. Just can't quite do it. Now has he made the opportune time to attack? No, he decides to back out of it. Lets Harvey have the corner. Probably thinking it's better to live and fight another date and throw it all away on a silly move. So Harvey controls second place. Nick Hall just drifting back a little bit. So the Vertex truck may be having a bit of an issue here. This is the race leader though, no issues at all for UTV, number 2 NZ, and Pro 4 truck driver about to win the Mickey Thompson feature event here at Manukau. White flag out, 1 to go for Joel Giddy. E&H Motors helping him out as well with the sponsorship package on this brand new Pro 4. Joel Giddy's truck bearing the scars of what has been a pretty tumultuous battle here. But that's going to be washed away with the victory champagne, and it's going to taste sweet for this man. The JG Civil Racing Team, Joel Giddy, you're back on board them here as he completes his last lap here at Manukau. The Mickey Thompson Tyres feature race is going to fall to Joel Giddy. 1 sweeping corner to go, and then it's a full throttle run to the CT Civil main straight jump. And the big crowd will applaud the actions of this man. He'll win it, and in the end he'll win it fairly comfortably. Giddy comes over and lines up the CT Civil jump, gets the checkered flag, gets the crowd's plaudits. In second place it will be Brad Harvey, and in third place we were looking for Nick Hall, but I think now we'll be looking for Lee Bishop. He gets third. Fourth place is James Buchanan. In fifth it is Nick Hall, so he did have an issue. And in sixth, Louis Carlisle, and in seventh, Alan Tillman. Well, you've seen some fantastic action here at Manukau, and it's a big thank you to the sponsors: Mickey Thompson Tyres, Cooper Tyres, Repco, Build Business, Federal Tyres, E&H Motors, Hydrabac NZ, Carlton Party Hire, JG Civil, Polaris, Oran, CT Civil and CRC Motorsport.